Hey YouTube, welcome to another video. If you've just watched my previous one, we did some fairly comprehensive updates to the application, particularly on our source type, supporting a much more robust kind of source type structure. As a result, we now have a number of other tasks that we need to complete, largely related to how we display information for our notes. As you can see, currently we've got like our note title. It is displaying the source, but it's displaying it as an ID, and there's not a lot of detail here. So if we look at our Miro board, basically we need to fix the note on the front end to better display fields of the note and the associated source. To do that, we are going to need to update our backend when get all notes is called, update the front end to display the fields correctly for the note modal, and then update the tile, which is kind of like what I'm calling this before it's opened, to show that on the dashboard. I think once we've got that, we'll have a pretty good understanding of any other little updates we may need to make. So to get things started, I just jumped ahead and wrote this prompt, which I'll very quickly run you through, just giving Claude context of the different models. I think that helps. And then I cut and pasted the typical response that we're getting from our current API of get all notes, where you will see that source is currently returned as an object with the source ID, source type, and ID duplicated there. So a little bit of duplication. And then based on that, I said, hey, what we really need to do is return the data with the source populated with all of the data fields that are available for source. So these can be dynamic. They are different depending on every single source type. You will have seen that if you've seen my previous video. And then once we've done that, we need to update our note modal, because obviously at the moment, if I bring note modal across, we're extracting title from note. We've got note.source, but again, that's the source ID. It's not displaying those fields there. So yeah, a little bit of updating. I asked it to write the code or ask any questions. It had a couple which we just clarified, and now we've got the updated code. So fairly straightforward functionality, I think. So we're just going to dive in and update this. We're going to start on our backend, and we are going to go to get all notes. We're going into our services file. So I just make this a little bit bigger and make that a little bit smaller. So basically what we need to do is just user paid tags, start date, end date, sort by order. That all stays the same. As does that. It's our query, build query filters, status tags, source, start date, end date, all stays the same. Sort options stays the same. Count documents, query, that all stays the same. Notes, so we are populating tags, we're populating source, but we need to do a nested populate. So this is the main part that's going to change there. Link notes, sequential links, blah, blah, blah. And then we return our data. So I think that should pretty much fix that up. And then in the note modal, actually we could test this very quickly. We'll need to log in again, so we'll just log in as this user. It will mean we need to log in again on the front end, but that's okay. And we'll go get all notes for company, header, change this, let's publish that, send, schema hasn't been registered. Okay. Just check I didn't miss. Not actually sure. Missing schema error. Okay, it was a problem with the path. So not my mistake. Check Claude. Right, so do that. Just not connected. Let's just check. There we go. So we got our source type name, and fields. I wonder now if it's going to have the front end correct, but we'll soon find out. So if we go over here, we've got our note modal. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to comment that out for a second, just in case I want to relook at the styling that it was previously. And we're going to paste in that new modal. So once we've done that, if we come back over here, and we are going to need to log in again. So if we get our user, objects are not valid if you enter. Okay, that's interesting. Where are we? Yeah. Copy. Okay, object. I still get this error. How do I get off this? I was going to give more context to say that this is how the data is returned, but let's just try this. Okay, so no, I still get an error. If not, we might manually look at this. But just for now, trying to use AI to do it quicker. Objects are not valid as react to an object. Alright, so what we might do is console. Let's go note. Let's just double check how this is coming through. Note null. Actually, I know what it is. Okay, we also need to update our note card. Okay, Alright, that was my mistake. Okay. And then if we open this, still got a little, can't tell. I don't know if that has a grey background. I told it to keep the grey background, but it hasn't done that. But yeah, there's the note with the body and then the source information. So what we probably need to do here is just add a little bit more more color and design. It's one of the things that I still haven't really got around to doing, is looking at bolt.new and ability to upload existing projects and lovable.dev and all that. So I'm not really sure if it's best practices to kind of play around with Claude at the moment and get it doing that, or if I focus on some other stuff. But it's good to get all of that information now working. We also obviously have our original functionality that we need to cover off. There's still some other functionality that we need to add. So what I might do is take a break here while I work out if I continue to work on just the styling of this component, or if we keep adding some more functionality, and I'll either append that to this video or create a new one. Hey YouTube, welcome to another video. If you've been following along with this project, you'll know that a lot of the time I've been using AI predominantly to write back-end code, and when we have written some front-end code, we've predominantly kind of started with what bolt.new or in some cases v0 gave us and then modified from there. Obviously, if we've moved from kind of bolt or v0 into my own projects, we've kind of changed things, and one of the downsides that all of these new UI AI tools have is that you can't actually import an existing project to them. So I was just doing some research to see if they'd changed since I last looked at it, and you still can't. So that makes it extremely difficult to give any of those applications kind of context of what our app currently looks like. So we're going to have to stick with Claude. Now, I want to test out in this video Claude's ability to update the UI and make some changes. I think it should be able to handle it fairly well because most of it isn't that UI heavy. But yeah, look, let's start off with a few of these things. So there's a couple of little kind of bugs or annoying things that I noticed. There are some that are a little bit more UI heavy. So for example, if you create a source and you go date, like this is wonky. Obviously it's not lining up properly. I don't know if Claude will be able to figure that out because it might be an issue with the component library rather than Claude. And then the other thing is if you, for example, create a new source, it renders this color bar or the color picker here, whereas ideally you'd have it as like a little square here or something. So I'm just interested to see how it can handle with that kind of prompting. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull over here and we're going to say, hey, I need you to make some updates to the UI. I need updates to the UI of our app, and we'll start with the new note modal. So in the new note modal, I want you to make the following changes. 1. When a user selects a folder, the input field should then disappear, as a user can only select one folder for a note. If the user then clicks the X on the folder name, then the folder input field should reappear, so they can again select the folder. 2, and just for context, what I'm talking about is here, so you can create a new folder. I want this to disappear, so new folder, this should disappear. If I click X, it should reappear. 2, when a tag is created or selected, it should appear above the field input, similar to how folder names are currently shown. The user can then click X to remove tag. 3, when adding a source type, the date picker doesn't currently align the days and dates properly. Let's actually add that. So, components UI calendar. We'll call it calendar for consistency. When creating a new source type, we render a color picker, but this is below the source type name. It should be to the right hand side and a smaller square rather than take up the whole row. I should ask if it has any questions, but let's see. Okay, so let's pull this over here, bring our code back. So new note modal. I called it the wrong thing, but it understands. Hopefully. Folder auto complete here. select the folder, remove folder. Ooh. Let me just check, open new tab. Folder, auto. It doesn't actually, so it doesn't actually have access to those two files. So what I'm going to do is go here, features, tags, tag autocomplete, and then features. You didn't have access to our tag autocomplete folder autocomplete files. I have now attached them. Please review and adjust this code and return all the code required to achieve. So, oversight on my part there. So let's copy this. Note, tags, tag autocomplete. Save that. Let's okay. Okay. It won't let me remove the tag. Okay, so when I check that. Hey, happy days. And we can do these. Okay, fantastic. So that those two aspects of it work. Number 3 was update the calendar styling. So weird that it's given us 2 different answers. So calendar. Put this over here. So head row, flex, head cell, and row. Copy. Saying to replace these 3. No, that didn't fix it. So the next option here is the calendar. come back here. No, it still doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if you can upload an image and tell Claude. Just thinking. Calendar. Copy. So. No, still not working. I am trying to remember. Let's go cd apx shed cn at latest add just wonder if maybe the version that we had of calendar was like slightly incorrect. Not exactly sure. It's obviously got an issue there. So we've got date FNS, which is a higher version. Okay, maybe that's why it's not working, because yeah. Alright, I have to think about that. I'm not too sure what the appropriate solution is there. And then the other change that we wanted to do was our color picker wrapper. So if we go to here, oops, color picker, okay, source type creation form, input, placeholder, source type name, no. So please review the create, note, modal, and advise. Correctly advise. Also might test out again going back to cursor. I think that might be pretty good for front end. So if anyone's got any experience with cursor, specifically just for updating front end code, let me know. Right, so made a mistake. so it is saying, I asked it to fix the date, and it's come up with this. Which pop over content, pop over. We might as well try and fix now that we're here. Field type. Okay, it didn't do anything. Let's just undo that. Can you update? Okay, so render source type. Select, create. Okay, so I think if we replace that, it made it a little bit better. So what's this? Color, width, height. So presumably these are width and height properties. Let's make that 10. Sorry, 8 from 10. A little bit smaller. It's not quite centered. Let's go 7 just for a sec. Yeah, and then center align. So flex, center, item center. Quickly, I can't remember the syntax off the top of my head. Chat. How do you Okay, maybe justify the center. I don't know. Flex. Yeah, why is that? Yeah, so it's not aligned. So we will just quickly ask. So many tabs. Help me align the field input and the color picker. It's not really the right terminology, but come on. Jesus, shouldn't take. Yeah. So input maybe that was the issue. Okay. What's that field type look? Bigger now. Maybe make that 8. This is where there's going to be a little bit of inconsistency. No, definitely. Alright, so then this needs to be 10. 10. Yeah, it still doesn't look right. Don't need the justify center. Double check. Not great there either. Alright, so let's go to note card. And then I'm going to say, we'll just stick in ChatGPT for a second. Can you please ensure all these note cards have the same height? This should be an easy fix. So div. I don't know enough about the different Tailwind properties to do this myself. Obviously with CSS, normally it's easy. But presumably there's like a class name with like min or max height or something. Man, I got to change from 0, 01. This is so slow. And while it does that, note modal. So source type namespace. Okay. Not exactly what I was looking for. So we're looking for BG secondary 20. Wonder if we change that. Did that get dark or is that just my eyes? Okay, 200 doesn't work. 100. Okay, so there's like a property where you can change the darkness. Oh, well, that achieves that. Right, so that worked. That worked. That didn't work. That kind of worked. Okay, that yellow. That we haven't done, and that we can work. So yeah, I'm not really happy with the front end stuff. I need to test out some different systems to make this more more effective. What I was really hoping to do is be able to import into like V0 or Bolt. Don't think you can. I was testing out Lovable before. I don't know if you can import docs. GitHub integration. I think it needs to be a public repo, which I obviously don't want it to do. Check this out because I did. Feature request. It's either that or I think cursor. Trending. There was one here the other day. Yes, this. Like 306. So change roadmap. Backlog up next. Yeah, okay, it's on the backlog, it's not even being worked on. That could be a while away, which is not ideal. Alright, cool. I'm going to wrap the video here because everyone will be getting bored, and think about what we tackle next and how I best proceed with these projects. I think I might have to test out Cursor again for the front end because it's not efficient pulling this into Claude or ChatGPT. I just want to really work from V0. I kind of like V0. Alright, I'll wrap it there. Thanks for watching. Okay, just quickly came back to this. When you ask V0, it does update it really nicely, but the problem is because it doesn't have my backend, obviously you can't, so many things, can't run it, can't render it. But it does give you the code, and then when I cut and paste, it does work out quite well. So just going to very briefly, couple of quick prompts and see if we can just figure this out. So full height width auto, height auto. So I see here it's got like this height auto property. They're a bit too big. The auto please. Please also make it that when you hover the card animates up. Let's just ask it this. I'm just interested to see, again, just for a very quick test purpose, if this is potentially a way we can use V0 without being able to upload all of our projects. Basically just go component by component and tell it what we want it to do. Again, we could also, I'm also going to test Cursor for this, but won't be able to run it, but that's fine. Let's replace our note card. Save. Not quite as high. It pops out, but it doesn't have background color. Hover shadow, hover background neutral 50. Okay, so it's using this neutral 50. So if I do like neutral 400, we should see a more pronounced change. There we go. Okay, awesome. So obviously that color looks terrible. We'll maybe do like a neutral 100. And I think what I've probably, if we tell V0 that we want to stick with one of these color palettes, we can be a little bit more consistent. So that's an idea. There you go. Awesome. We've got a little bit more functionality there, and I think we're getting closer to kind of understanding how we might be able to use some of these tools. As I said, cursor is something I want to compare tomorrow potentially. And I think also then just giving it direction on the type of color palette that we want to use. Yeah, okay. Then we open that, that's fine. All right, thanks for watching.